was through kings and monarchs. Traditions and customs guides their existence. The activities, decisions, and choice of rulership were achieved through oracle consultation and divination. The dictates of the oracle is final, and disobedience results in grave consequence. That is, this form of popular participation ensued during the old times, and the oracle is to be consulted. Modern mode of popular participation. In modern times, things are done according to laid down procedures and process. The Constitution dictates the conduct and actions of people. There are government agencies and organizations vested with responsibilities of administration over every sector, such as economic, political, social, and so on. It should be noted that rules and regulations guide their conduct and acts. Moving on to Term 5. The topic for Term 5 is democracy. What is democracy? Democracy is a Greek word meaning rule of the people. It is a system of government where people decide who should rule them and how they should be ruled. That is, the decisions on matters of public governance are made by the citizens. Definitions of democracy. It means a system of government which is run by elected members of the society for the purpose of controlling the economic, social, academic, political, and other spheres of life. Another definition is democracy is the government of the people, for the people, and by the people. It also means the control of government by the majority. The features and the characteristics of democracy. 1. Independence of the judiciary. This implies that under the democratic system of government, the judiciary, which is the arm that deals with legal issues, is independent of interference from any other arm or sector of the government. Political leaders are elected through elections. Under the democratic system of government, political leaders come into power through election, that is, majority election of the citizens. Democracy promotes the freedom of speech, expression, and the press. That is, under democratic system of government, freedom of speech is allowed, freedom of expression is allowed, and even the freedom of the press to publish any information is also allowed and promoted. There is an independent election body. That is, under a democratic system of government, since political leaders are elected into office through the election process, therefore, there is also an independent election body under such system of government. And this independent election body takes care of the whole electioneering process. The election body takes charge of the electioneering process. Another characteristic or feature of democracy is that it safeguards and guarantees fundamental human rights. That is, under democratic system of government, the fundamental human rights of citizens are to be exercised and not to be denied. Democracy recognizes the rule by the Constitution. That is, The Constitution is the guideline, is the rules, is the set of rules and regulations that guides the running of a democratic system of government. Democracy promotes and enhances rule of law and separation of power. It promotes rule of law in the sense that the rule of law states that no one is above the law and no one is too big to be prosecuted under the law. And separation of power in the sense that different sectors and different organs of government have their own different responsibilities so as to ensure the effective functioning of the government. Rule of law. Law can be defined as a document containing the rules and regulations guiding and controlling the affairs of people in their day-to-day relationship. It is the set of rules stating the do's and the don'ts of the people in a community. Rule of law simply means the supremacy of the law. That is, it means nobody is above the law. Principles of rule of law. The following are the principles of rule of law according to Professor VIDIQ in his book titled Constitutional Law. 1. Supremacy of the law. This means that the same law should be applied to everybody. 2. No partial treatment in applying the law. That is, when applying the law, sentiments or partial treatment should not come into play. Constitutional guarantee of human rights. This implies that under the rule of law, the Constitution guarantees the exercising of human rights, equality of everybody before the law, irrespective of gender, status, creed, occupation, religion, color, and so on. Nobody should be punished without prior trial in a recognized court, law court. That is, another principle of rule of law is that any individual that is to be punished should not be punished without being processed legally in a law court. Then the principle of fair hearing. That is, every individual is entitled to his fair legal hearing before any criminal activities could be ascribed to such an individual. Benefits of rule of law. Some of the benefits of rule of law includes 1. Encourages justice. That is, the rule of law encourages the supremacy of justice in the nation. It enhances equality of everybody as the same under the law. That is, rule of law makes sure that every individual is the same under the law. It guides against oppression and tyranny. That is, the rule of law does not give space or does not allow oppression or tyranny to occur in a society. It sustains and guarantees democratic governance. That is, the rule of law sustains democratic governance. It ensures the continual existence of democratic governance. Last on the list, it enables citizens exercise their constitutional rights. That is, the rule of law allows or gives way for the citizen to exercise their rights in accordance with the Constitution. Team 6, human trafficking. Human trafficking involves an act of recruiting, transporting, transferring, harboring, or receiving a person through the use of force, coercion, or other means for the purpose of exploiting them. Every year, thousands of men and women